All right, so today, and welcome everybody, welcome, and those of you that are joining me and have joined me for the past few videos, I'm so glad that you're here. I really, truly am. I love this. You know, when I went to do this video today, I was just so happy. But the topic today is 10 mistakes that you might need to consider if you're considering downsizing. And you might say to yourself, well, what does Heather know about downsizing? And what a lot of you don't know is that I was a realtor. After I was in my modeling career, I decided, you know, I'm not going to model anymore and I'm going to be a realtor. So, wow, you know, I really had some eye-opening situations where people moved, they downsized, and then they call me back and say, we got to sell this place, I hate it. And there's all different reasons for that. So let's start off with reason number one. Reason number one to consider about downsizing, it's kind of simple. It's that you don't consider it at all. And a lot of times what happens is you are so, attached to the family home. You think, if I sell this home, the kids are going to be so upset. And we're talking about grown children now that have moved away. They've got their own lives. They may say that to you, but, it doesn't really mean that much to them. So you just sort of say, no, I'm going to stay in my big home forever. I'm going to mow the grass. I'm going to do all the maintenance. I'm going to pay all the costs. And that's a mistake. The second mistake is when you do think, well, maybe I will downsize, maybe that's a good idea, you don't declutter. And, you look at all the stuff that you have in your home and you say to yourself, well, that belonged to my parents, and that's all the kids' books from college, and wow, I can't downsize because I got too much stuff. Well, I say, get rid of the stuff. You can toss it. You can keep it. Keep something. But remember, is it that important to you? Does it really fill you with joy? You can also sell some of these items, like old records, old comics, old silverware, that sort of thing. A lot of these are worth money, and you can use some of that money to maybe go on a trip. And then, of course, the last thing that you can do is donate it. You can donate it. I think the Diabetes Society, there's different societies out there that really, Goodwill is another one, that really need these donations, and they really help people. So that's my number two. Now let's go on to number three. I'm just going to take a sip of my Earl Grey tea here. And I hope that you've poured yourself a nice little beverage and that you're enjoying it, because this is meant to just sort of kick back and talk about things that really mean something to us as we are aging. And of course, every week I'm here. All right. Oh, by the way, this subject, downsizing, actually was asked by one of my viewers. Thank you very much for that. And don't forget to put in the comments some of the subjects that you'd like to have me talk about. So I'd really enjoy that. But let's get on to number three. Number three, this was a big one. A lot of the aging people that I worked with wanted a condo. They just saw the ads, there's so much freedom, I just lock the door, I go traveling, and they wanted a condo. In a lot of cases, they called me back and said, I got to sell this condo. So these are some things to consider. When you buy a condo, there's the noise factor. That's something, you've got noise above, below, on side to side. That's a noise factor. Another factor is sometimes you can't barbecue in a condo. They've got restrictions. They might not even allow you to have your big dog. So, or if you're thinking of getting a big dog in the future. So that's something to consider. The other thing which was a biggie was just the garage, parking in the garage, and feeling like, I got to bring all my groceries up, I got to make several trips in the elevator, this isn't kind of working for me. And of course, the feeling that they felt a little closed in. They felt like, just reminds me of my first apartment, and that wasn't good either. So that's another point to consider. Number four, mistake that might happen, something to consider, is Your idyllic location. The idyllic location. Oh, I always wanted to live on the lake. I'm going to move into a cottage. Or I always wanted a farm, even a small farm, moving out to a farm. Or how about a cabin in the woods? Oh my gosh, that sounds so idyllic. Well, the things that they didn't consider were the fact that if you live in a country or a town or whatever that has winters, you're isolated. A lot of times these roads, they don't get plowed and you're kind of stuck there for many, many months. And of course, people don't want to come up and visit you because the traffic is so difficult to drive on. So there's another one. The other thing to consider is as you're aging, if this is really your forever home, the question is, how is an ambulance going to get there? You know, are you close to the doctors? Are you close to hospitals? And these are the kind of things that a lot of people don't consider. Now, number 5 is kind of similar to the condos where people say, no, you know what? I want a townhome. I've decided I want a townhome. Or one of those attached kind of homes, a lot less maintenance and that sort of thing. Well, I lived in one of those for a while. And I'll tell you something, the noise factor was still there. Our next door neighbors, they were lovely, lovely people, but boy, they had a baby and that baby screamed all the time. And the baby's room was right beside our bedroom. So 2 o'clock in the morning, I'm a light sleeper, I would be waking up to this baby crying. And of course, they always apologize, but this baby would go on for like an hour. And then on the other side of us, we had some people pretty close by, and they built a deck. So I could actually go out and say, hi, how are you today? They were so close. And you know, whenever they were out there, and she loved to read out on her little deck, it was kind of like, hi, how are you? I never really felt the privacy. Yeah, we could barbecue out there. It had a little yard, but I never really felt the privacy. And then they got a dog. And the dog would bark a lot too. So, you know what? Those are the kind of things to consider if you're saying, well, I don't want the maintenance. I want a semi-detached home or attached home, and I'm thinking about a townhome. And again, with a townhome, you got somebody usually on one side and also somebody on the other side. So that's a real consideration. The other kind of thing to consider is, do you really want a 2-story home? A lot of times we think, boy, you know, we're so active, we go for our walks all the time. I want a 2-story home. Those stairs are great for me. But if you're thinking it's a forever home, you're downsizing. And I'll tell you, moving's a pain in the butt, right? You know, changing the addresses and all that sort of thing. You may consider getting all one level. All one level. You can still have the basements to walk down to, but all one level is so easy. That's what we got. And as a matter of fact, in just a few minutes or seconds, I'm going to show you a little montage of what we ended up getting. And in later videos, this was a bit of a fixer-upper, so I'm going to show the before and the afters and the renovations in another video. And also, I made myself a she shed out of the garage, so I want to show that to you as well. But right now, I think we're on number 7. And just before that, I'm so glad you're here watching this downsizing tips and advice and that sort of thing. But I would love for you to be a subscriber. There's a button down there somewhere. Don't forget to click on the notification bell, because we're going to be talking about wellness. We're going to talk about self-esteem as you age. We're going to talk about food choices, maybe even being stuck in a rut, and exercise, all kinds of different things. So I would love for you to join me here every week. All right, but now we're on number 7. And number 7 about downsizing is your lifestyle. Where are you going to go? Maybe you're in the burbs and you think, well, I'll just find a smaller home here. But maybe you got a lot more freedom now. Maybe you can just sort of decide, I think I want to be closer to the city. I think I want to go out to restaurants. I want to go to activities. I want to see a ball game. I want to do this and that and the other thing. And a lot of times the choice to move closer to a city or maybe out of the city, whatever you're deciding, the lifestyle is the big choice. Now, number 8, you pick the lifestyle. You pick the big city. Yay, I'm moving from the burbs. We're going to go to the big city. Watch your price points. This is a big one because you don't want to be in debt for literally the rest of your life. When you move to the city, the prices are a lot different than the burbs. And a lot of times it's like, yeah, but I found the perfect bungalow. It's like 15 minutes and I'm just in transit, or I'm on a commuter train and I'm right in the heart of the city. I can go to a ball game, I can do this and this. But that mortgage is going to be, sometimes it's hard to even get the mortgage, but also when they give you a 30-day mortgage, to count out the years, you don't want to be 99 years old and still having a mortgage. And a reminder, don't forget to stay until the end of this video where I'm going to have a little montage about the home that we have, our downsized home. And I'm also going to have one of those moving forward quotes for you. And don't forget to put in the comments, this is the community. Let us know if you downsized, if you like it, or if this video has helped you with your decisions. All right, so I think we're on number 9. And number 9, oh, this was another one that I found. Sell first. If your money is a little bit tight, you need to sell first because you want to make sure that that home in the burbs that you're selling, you really get what you think you're going to get out of it. A lot of times, even the real estate agents, oh yeah, I can get you, and they're not being true. You've got to see comparables. You've really got to see if your pie in the sky price is like way out there. And if you buy first, thinking, oh, I got to buy first, you might find yourself really trapped because you didn't get the money out of your home that you thought you were, the family home. So that is very, very important. And I also say, give yourself a 3 to 4 month kind of escrow or closing date, and that gives you lots of time to find something else. All right, another mistake that people do is they move into the condo, they like it, it's great, it's a 1-bedroom. And then they find that the kids don't visit them anymore because maybe the kids found a job offer, it's really far away, but they can't stay with you. I think it's a good idea to maybe have, if it's condo, maybe a bedroom plus a den. Make sure also, if you love to cook, have that dining room there so that you can have the family around the table for Christmas or Easter or whatever celebrations that you have. It's so important that you include. We got 4 kids. So, and as a matter of fact, in about another week, one of them's coming here to stay for a week, and we got a nice little bedroom in the basement. It's really comfy and warm, and that's what we have. So it's something to really consider. And for right now, I just talked about our little home. Let's take a look at a little montage of our home. And again, in future videos, I'm going to be showing you the renovations we did, the befores and afters, my she shed, and of course, lots of other really helpful videos for you. But for right now, let's take a look. believe that instead of decades, our lives have seasons. And if your kids have moved out of the house, this is your season. This is your season to have that lifestyle that you always dreamed of and the freedom. And at this point, I've got a moving forward quote for you. This one says, "Minimalism is a tool to eliminate life's excess, focus on the essentials, and to find happiness and fulfillment." And that's by Joshua Fields Millian. And I'm just, I think that's so true. You know, this move that you make out of the family home that it housed everything for that season of your life, right? And now it's time to just get the freedom. And again, I'm so glad that you're here. I really hope that this helps somebody today. Let me know in the comments if you learned something. And I can't wait to see you next week. And I really, from the bottom of my heart, I appreciate that. And I love having you here. Take care.